Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day and thank you for the ability for us to meet. And please give us wisdom and guidance so that we can do the best things for the city of Jefferson and its citizens. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Thank you, Tina. Okay, no one signed up for public comment. So I'll go into mayor's comments. 5 Alpha is about public comments. So came to our attention through the district attorney's office, actually. Someone had called in and filed a complaint about the way we handle public comment and the fact that we have always said if you're not a resident of the city of Jefferson nor a business owner, you can't sign up to speak. And county's done that. We've done that forever. Well, apparently, in 2019, the law changed. So we no longer can restrict that status of individuals. So if someone wants to come and make comment, positive or negative, they are more than happy to do so. We have already changed the agendas for all the boards. So all the boards have been made aware, but I just wanted everyone to know we didn't just do that. We were challenged and we researched it. Mike did some research. Mike, any comments on top of what I just said?
Yeah, let me just say I'm pretty shocked also. But apparently somebody complained to the district attorney's office, and she called me and emailed me, and I did the research and discovered they actually changed the law back in 2019, and basically it says that anybody can come. We can put restrictions on how long they speak, but we can't restrict the people. As long as, if they want to come speak, they're allowed to come talk to us. So
we're still going to do our 3 minutes as long as we stay consistent. That 3 minutes is, you know, a privileged restriction we can put on it. And I think, again, the city's been pretty stringent at keeping that 3 minutes over its history. So we'll keep doing that. But just in case you notice that change or see someone sign up that you don't know who they are, don't worry, we don't know who they are either. So we'll just get the feedback as we go. Alley Street paving. So I talked to, when I talked to Union Pacific about paving over several of the crossings over at Alley Street, they had said, hey, we'll do it in August or September. So I was just kind of checking in with them. They're waiting on materials. It should be done in the next 2 to 3 weeks. Tino, they're going to get back with me ASAP, but it could very well be a day or two before. So as we talk street closures and all that sort of thing, we may have to be pretty creative. If we get enough notice, we will put it in the paper, Hugh, and get it on the internet and all that. I'll announce it in a meeting. But if we're given less than a couple days' notice, we may just kind of do the best we can through, you know, Facebook and whatever. So, but they believe it will be done in the next couple weeks. Grant update. I've gotten a lot of questions on different grants and stuff. We are still in a pretty big waiting period with several of the grants that we have been filling out over the last really, 9, 12, 15 months. The big sidewalk grant that is the path from the elementary school to the high school. We made it through the first 2 tranches, and now they are reviewing everything. They hope to have some sort of decision of candidates to move to the final level sometime in October, and that's always the plan. So they're still on their time schedule. It's just, it's taken a while. We had submitted that back in January, so that's still in play. The trestle, kind of the same thing. We had put in for kind of a 3-pronged approach where we would do the granite walk, then we would do something around the trestle, and then we would do the boardwalk itself. Still waiting on what the next stage for those are. Texas Water Development Board, they have reopened some funding. We've got our partner, Trailer and Associates, looking into anything that they believe we kind of fit the model for. Some of it we just won't, some of it we do. So we're seeing if there's anything we need to be putting in for Texas Water Development Board. And then the CDBG, which is Community Development Block Grant. We are just on the verge of closing the last one, which was about a $350,000 a sewer project over kind of Canal and Clarksville area. So we're at the tail end of that one, and the new cycle hasn't opened. So that's kind of what we've got kind of hanging out there from a grant perspective. 6, we've got a proclamation. So October is Teachers Month, I guess. And so give me a break, or give me some time on this. It's going to take me a minute. Be it known that whereas the city of Jefferson's future strength depends on providing a high-quality education to all students, and whereas teacher quality matters more to student achievement than any other school-related factor, and whereas teachers spend countless hours preparing lesson plans and supporting students, and whereas our teachers have demonstrated great resilience, adaptability, and creativity during the COVID-19 crisis, and whereas our community recognizes and supports its teachers in educating the children of this community, and whereas #TeachersCan is a statewide movement supported by more than 150 partnering businesses and organizations committed to elevating the teaching profession and honoring the critical role teachers play in the success of Texas. And now therefore be it resolved that the City of Jefferson City Council joins #TeachersCan and its partnering entities across Texas in celebrating World Teachers Day, and proclaims October 5th, 2023 to be Jefferson Teachers Day. And be it further resolved that the City of Jefferson City Council encourages members of our community to personally express appreciation to our teachers and display a light blue ribbon outside your homes or businesses the week of October 5th as a symbol of support for our educators. So we have sent this is a copy, we sent the original proclamation to that organization. So they touch base with us each year, and we've been able to support that for a number of years. So worthwhile group. Presentations, 7 Alpha, we've got FOJA Quarterly Update. Sharon? And council, there's handouts in front of you.
I'm a little bit late with the quarterly report, and I thank y'all for giving me a little bit extra time to do that with everything that's been going on. So I always give you a pretty detailed report of where the money's coming from and who the money's going to. The third quarter report, we had deposits in April of $4,274.13. The April expenses were $7,437.40. May deposits $6,011.78. May expenses $68,35.27. June deposits were $45,83.94, and June expenses were $54,55.51. So we had a quarterly income of $14,869.85, and we had quarterly expenses of $19,728.18. Our year end is different than the city's. So, of course, we have to file income tax, and we have to file our 990, and we have to file our franchise tax report. So I'm not going to go into detail, but your second sheet here is all of our income and expenses for 22. And basically it's the third page. Our total income for 2022 was $71,373.86, and our total expenses were $59,278.01. So we had an ending balance on 12/31/22 of $18,436.19. Of course, including in this is the money that you also generously give us, which is about for this year was about $16,000. We did receive a very nice gift of $15,279 from the dissolution of a 501c3 in November. They were very generous to give us part of that. There were other recipients of those funds also. So that's where we stand. We took a big jump in 22. It was our fourth year, so 2023 is starting into year 5. So we probably won't do as well this year as we did last year, just because we had a couple that one large donation, but we did have Woodstock, and I will tell you that one-day event we cleared $16,000.
It was $16,092.
So that's what we cleared on that one-day event. And Woodstock is being prepared. In the process now, we had our first meeting last weekend, and it's going to be in September next year when it's a little bit cooler. And it's going to be a 2-day event. It's going to be a night event and a day event, and Dina's going to be able to tell you a little bit about that. She's also going to give you the stats on the animals and how many we transported and where they are. And I'll tell you right now that when I give the report for this quarter, we took in May 31 city kittens, 26 of which I still have in my garage that have been vetted. But the expenses for those are quite costly because they're more for cats than they are dogs. So it won't be any question about where city money went for the next quarter, but that'll be for the next report.
Good evening. So as Sharon said, we did Wolfstock in May of this year, and it was kind of a way for Lisa Louder, who contributes to Friends of Jefferson Animals, to be able to do something. Since she doesn't do this side of it, she created that. And it was a fun run, live music, pet walks, we had vendors, a petting zoo, and as we said, we raised $16,092. Wolfstock in and of itself is a 501c3, so they gave Friends of Jefferson Animals 4 different deposits, as you probably noticed in the paperwork Sharon gave you, in increments or installments in May, June, July, and August, which helped us offset the cost we had for those months. Additionally, they were giving us a $4,000 check to give to Animal Protection League, or APL, that comes to Marion County usually once or twice a month. And with that $4,000, we've earmarked some of that money for TNR, which is trap, neuter, return, and spay for colony cats within the city, as well as other spay and neuter options for Marion County residents that are low income or find themselves in a bind and can't get their animals fixed. Let's see. Lisa did want me to say we extend our genuine gratitude for your support as a city council in the provision of the approved application for Wolfstock. We earnestly hope that the event will continue to grow and be one the city and county can be proud of in the years to come. And as Sharon mentioned, Lisa will be the one to kind of give you the heads up of what's coming next year, but we hope it's bigger and better. With regards to April through June's number, we sent off 64 puppies or dogs to North Shore Animal League America in Port Washington, New York, and we took 11 kittens and cats to Operation Kindness in Carrollton, Texas. As Sharon mentioned, kittens and cats require more vetting simply because they can carry more communicative diseases than puppies do, so the cost to vet them and get them into a bigger rescue is a little bit more on the costly side. But in total, April through June, we removed 75 kittens, cats, dogs, or puppies from Marion County and placed them in larger rescues, either in New York or in Texas. We have currently close to 35 kittens and cats in our care and 68 puppies and 10 adult dogs. We have 15 leaving next week, and as soon as we get them gone, we usually have more come in. So I want to extend also my gratitude for every little bit, because it truly does help, and it takes a village to help, combat this issue in the county. So
There's something I would also like to emphasize to y'all too. Sometimes when we get these puppies, we take them in and we think they're healthy. And within 3 or 4 days, they start showing signs of not being healthy. And we've had at least 4 major outbreaks of parvo. We have saved some of them. We have not saved others. There's no way when we take these in that we know that they're sick. Most of the time, the people probably that dump them do know that, and that's why they're dumped. But that takes a lot of time and effort we do have some volunteers, but it takes a whole lot of time and effort to get them well. The other thing it does is, if they've been in one of our 3 kennels, that kennel is totally unusable for months because parvo gets into the wood
any of the surfaces.
Any of the surfaces. And it even gets, when we hose it down, it even gets into the ground. So the ground basically, if you track in, and we made that mistake early on, not knowing that, we tracked in and we lost a whole nother litter that way.
It can live in the ground for 6 to 7 years, new studies show. So what I've had to do is essentially do everything from the outside of the kennel, because the only way to combat that would be to remove the kennels, burn the ground at least twice, my veterinarians say, and then scrape it and then put the kennels back. So it's kind of a trial and error, as Sharon said, but for example, and I won't take up any more time other than to tell you this, the group that everybody started posting asking for help about the night that you received your award down here, I guess it was a week ago Friday on 2208, there were 6 of those, and I left this awards program and went straight out there in the middle of that storm and picked them all up. And of course they looked heavily parasiticized, you know, I mean, they got worms, they're missing hair and covered in fleas. So you know they've got that going against them, but as she said, within a matter of days, I mean, they can go from not feeling great to deathly sick, and we lost 2 of that 6, but the other 4 are doing well. But $173 just to have them examined and euthanized humanely, which beats the ditch they were sitting in when I pulled up, but you know, it takes a toll physically, mentally and emotionally at times.
And days to get them ready and weeks to get them ready to go out on transport.
Oh yeah, these will be at least another month before they're ready to go.
So this is where the food comes in, and I would just like to tell you that the column that you see on there for supplies is 99% food and probably 1% cleaning products. And that's not counting what comes out of our pocket, because we just flat do not take in enough. And Robin's been very generous about the little donation box, the 2 boxes that kind of make the rounds. We do get food there. People do donate blankets. Anybody listening out there, we thank you so much for every donation that you give us. But it's not sometimes what it looks like is where you see Dina pick them up and you see them get a bath, and then the next thing you see them on transport. There's a lot that goes into it more than that, and
I wish it were that easy.
wish it were that easy.
Yeah.
But why don't you give them kind of an estimate of what we've done over the last 4 years as far as transports?
Oh gosh, it's close to 1,000 puppies, cats, kittens, and dogs transported out of Marion County. And rescue, you say when you adopt one or rescue one, you really do 2, because you're moving that one out and making room for another one to come in. So with that being said, you can imagine if those 1,000 stayed within Marion County, how many more puppies, cats, kittens, and dogs you would have running the streets. Just last week, there was a home in Pine Harbor, a feral dog crawled under her porch and had 7 puppies. She removed the puppies so the mama dog wouldn't go back underneath there and put them in a box on her porch. I had a volunteer offer to bottle feed those. None of them made it because they had been without mom for too long. But people try, and there's a lot of people trying out there, you know. I mean, and I probably don't give enough praise to those people on a regular basis just simply because I don't have the time. But we do have a lot of wonderful fosters out there. The need just far exceeds what we take in a lot of times, and the amount of time it takes to get some of those animals ready. So
But-
we thank you.
Yeah, and I honestly don't know what we would have done the last 2 years if y'all had not seen fit to put us in your budget, because $4,000 every quarter may not seem like much, but that $16,000 a year means a whole lot to us, because otherwise we're out there, and if you follow our FOJA page, you see that we put up fundraisers all the time, and those fundraisers are not as lucrative as they used to be, because as we all know, expenses have gone up. People don't have discretionary income like they had any, you know, like they used to have. So as expenses and things go up, they're unable to help as much as they used to. But for everybody out there, we thank you for every penny, because every penny and every nickel counts. And we certainly are most appreciative to all of you for taking us into consideration and keeping us in your budget.
One last thing I'll say is, someone asked me the other day, whose number do I give out if there's a dog? And I said, not mine. And I say that jokingly, but really I have no place for adult dogs. I don't. I wish I did. But the reality is, if anybody gets asked that question by anyone, the best thing you can do is give them the Friends of Jefferson Animals page and have them send pictures and a general location where the dog is. So if it's on Elizabeth Street is fine. You don't have to put the exact location, because there are people out there that would pick up an animal for harm if they knew the exact location, or just to steal it and dump it elsewhere. So please just have them send stuff to the page. That's the easiest and quickest way for us to help those animals in the county.
And the other thing too is with the adult dogs, a lot of times people will see those and they will actually step up and say, I'd, like to have that dog or whatever. So we can't get the adults out, cats or dogs.
Well, I will say this much, we're trying to plan and I haven't even told Sharon this, so she's getting the information along with y'all, but we're trying to plan a trip to Illinois in October, where we would hit 5 rescues that wanna take adults, but those rescues are few and far between, and that means 2 of us will have to take off to go to Illinois for a several-day trip in order to get those dogs out. So, we do have those options, but they are few and far between.
And when we get them, that they're in really bad shape, we end up putting them in boarding, and that's where you see the boarding costs. We've still got 4, one of which we've had 2 years, 3 years now.
He's a special case.
He's a special case, but anyway, he's been in boarding and not adoptable, so we're paying boarding fees just to keep him.
He is adoptable, but it's gonna take the right family and the right fit. And, he's a city dog and as sweet as he can be, so if anybody's looking for a single dog, he needs to be an only dog.
Right.
So.
Well, ladies, thank you very much. We definitely appreciate the updates, and I guess the update for y'all is, we did approve in this coming year's budget another 25%. So where we were just over 16, we'll be just over 20 this next year. So, we'll keep doing what we do, and you keep doing what you do, and just communication and the numbers are great. So thank you. Okay, consent agenda. A little long today, folks. Reminder, if there's anything in consent that you would like to move out into action, I need that in a motion once I've run through all of this. It's going to take me a minute. So 8 Alpha, consider and/or approve August 15th, 2023 regular council meeting minutes. 8 Bravo, consider and/or approve August 21st, 2023 special council meeting minutes. 8 Charlie, consider and/or approve August 29th, 2023 special council meeting minutes. 8 Delta, consider and/or approve September 14th special council meeting minutes. 8 Echo, consider and/or approve September 15th, 2023 special council meeting minutes. 8 Foxtrot, consider and/or approve monthly financial reports. 8 Golf, consider and/or approve Mickey Moore's application for a building permit, 603 Lake Street. 8 Hotel, consider and/or approve Phil and Ashley Luna's application for a building permit, 655 North Soda. 6 India, consider and/or approve James and Lee Hughes' application for building permit 601 East Jefferson. 8 Juliet, consider and/or approve Engel Ventures LLC application for building permit 217 West Lafayette. The variance for that was approved back in February of 2023. 8 Kilo, consider and/or approve Berkshire's application for a sign permit at 404 East Broadway. 8 Lima, consider and/or approve special event application for Culpeper and Merriweather Circus for October 17 through 19 of this year. 8 Mike, consider and/or approve renewal application for an amusement ride permit for Jefferson Texas Tours LLC, aka the Trolley. 8 Nana, consider and/or approve TML Health Benefit Pool Renewal Notice and Benefit Verification Form. And 8 Oscar, consider, discuss, and/or approve changing Friday, October 6th approved holiday to Friday, October 13th as an approved holiday for the Burn Run event. Any motions to move any of those items to action? Hearing none, do I hear a motion to approve 8 Alpha through 8 Oscar as written?
So moved.
So moved by Hollis.
Second.
I've got an April with a second. Further discussion?
I'd like to just make a statement.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm planning on just not voting on future building permits, and I'll tell you why. They don't matter. Because we have people that are constructing things in town, moving buildings in without a permit, with no repercussions. So I'm going to abstain until we get a building permit person and an inspector, because there's no teeth in our ordinance that requires somebody to do it, so a lot of people don't. And there's nothing we can do about it, evidently. So I just wanted to make that statement.
Okay, thank you, Robin. All in favor to approve 8 Alpha through 8 Oscar as written?
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstention? There we go. So we'll go 401. Okay. Action items 9 Alpha, consider, discuss, and/or approve a municipal maintenance agreement between the City of Jefferson and the State of Texas Department of Transportation. So folks, this is it's a 10-year contract with TxDOT. It's a standard contract. The last one signed was by Richard Turner back in 2013. It basically outlines what we are responsible for, the city, what they are responsible for. It bifurcates all the different tidbits. No changes of note since 2013. It's kind of a standard thing. It's kind of administrative. I will say that we do need to, when we get to 9 Bravo and Charlie, we are going to need to table those. Those ordinances are not done and ready for this meeting. Actually, one's an ordinance, one's a resolution. So those 3 are tied together, but we can still approve the agreement tonight. Any questions? In your packet is the new one and the old one, so you can see what was signed back in 2013. Do I hear a motion on 9 Alpha?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Okay, do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Second by Ray. Further discussion? All in favor to approve 9 Alpha as written?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstention? All right, 5-0. Okay, and like I said, Bravo and Charlie, we are going to need to table and bring back. It's really just the ordinance to match the maintenance agreement and the resolution to match as well. Do I hear a motion to table 9 Bravo?
Make a motion to table.
Thank you, Bob.
Second.
April, thank you. All in favor to table 9 Bravo?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstention? Great. 5-0. Do I hear a motion to table 9 Charlie?
I so move.
Bubba?
Second.
April? All in favor to table 9?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstention? 5-0. Great. 9 Delta, consider, discuss, and approve the 2022-2023 employee pays raises as presented on the fiscal year 2023-24 approved budget. So what you've got in front of you, let me dig and get mine. Hold on. So guys, what's being reviewed is this one. It's kind of the landscape one. It's got a little blue and yellow on the front. A couple things before any questions are asked. We had talked in the last budget workshop about looking into really the lower pay rates versus other cities to see if we get more competitive. We've done this once before last year. Last year we did a raise of everyone from $10 to $12, but we also bifurcated, salaries in between. This is being presented today to approve basically a cost of living increase of 3% across the board. It is being done in a prorated manner, so if someone was hired halfway through the year, they're only going to get half. But beyond that, it's 3% across, so it does not encompass any of that analysis. That analysis has to be done. I think we're going to have to do it in a couple different ways because to stratify how the low end is, we have an awful lot of people not at the very low end, but we've got them 50 cents above. So we're going to have to be very careful, and we need to look at everybody and see what a market study means to each position. I can't tell you that every position will be affected, but I will say that if we take the lower guys who are now at $12 that were $10 a year ago and move them to like 13 or 14, they will be leapfrogging people that have been in the spot for 8 or 10 years. So we've got it. We're going to need to dig in a little bit deeper. What Melissa and I wanted to do by putting this together and presenting it was, if we approve this tonight, that allows us to pay the first paycheck in October, so for the full fiscal year with the 3% for everybody. So to us, that's table stakes. We've got to get that done. we will dig into the bigger analysis with options and stuff, and we will discuss that at a later date in a lot more detail. But we wanted to go ahead and take care of the whole staff for the first paycheck of October by approving this tonight. Comments, questions?
I got a question about one. We
Sure.
motion second, and I'll ask about it.
Okay.
If that's what you want to do, I'll ask now.
Either way, Bubba, you can ask.
Well, it's on the tourism. We've got a line for the third, so, you know, that's a, for the third line down, I mean, you know, it's a deal where, I guess, are they just adding hours, or is that a placeholder, or they?
It's, that is a place, that's a placeholder, but what it's meant to do is these are all part-time positions for tourism. If they go over 1,000 hours in a year, then we have to offer them retirement, and they have to retroactively go back and pay retirement. So our goal would be, and you know, we've even talked to those employees to keep them under 1,000. To keep them under 1,000, we are getting more and more activity. So the hours seem to go up. Zach's in school, so he's less available, still works really hard, but we kind of need a third body to be able to do some stuff. So this position per se hasn't been approved, but it's a placeholder so we can better juggle the part-time status and keep Danielle and Zach happy doing what they're doing, but not get into a retirement scenario with the two of them. So, little planning.
I'll
Do I
make
hear-
a motion to approve.
Okay, April
I'll second.
and Ray. Further discussion? All in favor to approve 9 Delta as presented?
Aye.
Any against? Any abstention? All right. We'll go into section 10, discussion items. First one, discuss council initiative lists. So folks, that's this very colorful looking one. Okay, so back in May, right after the election, I kind of presented 14 items. It had grown to 16 by June. You guys all gave input on what you had interest or a passion for working on, which would be yellow. I called it support. You'd support that initiative. If anyone raised their hand and said, I'd really like to lead that, that's in green. I have marked in orange where we've got people that want to participate on a group, but no one raised their hand to lead it. And those items, as far as I'm concerned, are now back burner. If we don't have someone to lead it, and believe me, we've got plenty on the front burner, you know, we need someone to step forward and lead one of those once some of these other ones are, you know, taken soup to nuts and done. And then the red, we didn't have anybody sign up at all. Those were the city hall structure and the employee handbook. So I'm just trying to give you an update of where we stand, who these said leads are for the projects. Hollis had come to me inquiring as to the event town hall that we're going to have. And as you can tell, the event town hall has people that want to participate in it, but no one to lead it. So it is kind of stagnant. It's sitting waiting for a leader. Once it has a leader, yes, sir.
I'll do it.
Okay. Thank you, Ray.
Yes, sir.
And Ray, we've had a town hall about events. It was mildly attended. The purpose of that one, and I can bring you up to speed offline, but it was really to say, let's get a representative from every group that has an event here. And it could be anyone that has a parade, anyone that has a street block, you know, a street closure, anyone that, you know, really anything. And then share what works for those groups and what doesn't work for the groups. We know volunteerism is generally a struggle for everybody. Well, let's fix that for everybody. Let's get some ideas out there, whether it's to go to ETBU or Wiley College and get the sports teams to get some community hours and get out here. We did use those for Mardi Gras. You know, this past year, I think we had the ETBU baseball team or something, or maybe it was Wiley. Thank you. Wiley baseball team came out here, and it was great because you had 15 or 20 people in matching T-shirts that you knew you could grab and say, hey, can you go do this or that or whatever. So, and I'm sure there are things that work for some of the events that could be shared with some of the others and say, ooh, we're not doing that. Let's do that. So anyway, Ray, I can get with you and kind of share you the notes of the first one. That first one was done 15 months ago, maybe. Okay. So.
I wanted to ask Didn't we kick the can down the road for the burn benefit to the town hall about those barricades?
We did. We approved the permit for them to, they put together their event permit and blocked the date off, and it includes street closures and all. And there was a question on the water barricades. And we said, well, look, that really needs to be discussed at the broader event town hall because we've got multiple events that use barricades, and we only have the one that uses water barricades. So let's all get on the same page. Let's all, that should be encompassed in that whole discussion, not just.
Well, to me, that's kind of a safety issue too, that I don't think should be kicked down the road. It's, if any of the others are asking to use water barricades, I could see where it would be a citywide problem. But I think that needs to be, decided by the council because it's a safety issue, in my opinion, instead of just waiting for.
Yeah, I'd lean to Tino and even Victor and Rod to give us perspective on safety from that perspective because it's really the emergency vehicles that would need to come in and out. Tino, any thoughts on how you would deem, can we wait on that discussion or do we need to have that? We'd have to call a special meeting to have that decision made.
I would like to give it to fire department and EMS on what things will be available to get a cart down there. I know in the past, the burn run has worked with Christus to get a side-by-side in town. That way they're easily accessible down there. During the 4th of July, this just comes to mind, the 4th of July celebration, there was an individual who needed an ambulance that was near the bayou, which calls an ambulance to drive right down the middle way to let them through, and there was a lot of people. So that creates some chaos at night when all is, pitch black. But there definitely needs to be a safety protocol at least in place for the emergent, immediate removal of barricades that are extremely heavy, whether it be filled a certain way and straps attached to it. But there is definitely a safety concern that we can't get people down there. We're having to walk or run, a good distance to the situation.
So Tino, can you do that? Can you get with the fire department, whether it's Victor or Rod, get their opinion, get with EMS, and come back to us with their synopsis of what they deem they need, or if this is specifically about water barricades, what their perspective is on water barricades in some of the streets? Yes, Hugh.
Just so you know, we don't fully fill those. I'm on board with them. We do not fully fill those. We only put maybe 6 to 8 inches of water at the bottom of them. So even me, my bad back, I can show them out of the way if I have to. Pay for it later, but it can be done. And then at Tina's request, we're making sure there's tie ropes on them, so they can be grabbed and pulled easily if they need to. And all of the access points, there's never more than a block, worst case, and to get in. And then even then, we still have Christus or a medical group here with side-by-sides for access and getting into crowds and stuff like that.
How are they going to be filled?
They're bringing in water from outside to do those with, is my understanding.
So I would wait for Tino if you could get back to us as soon as possible, and that way if we need to.
And I'll get with the group on getting and really need to be discussing this with all groups, an emergency plan in case we have to disrupt everything. Because for some reason, someone falls, someone is having heat-like symptoms right at the start of a major event. So we do need to make sure we have an emergency plan in place to include extracting someone from a large area, large crowd. But yeah, that's just, and when we're doing event establishment and the process going through it, I will be the first to say that not everyone meets with the police department. They do want to have a parade. Later on, we find out that there's a parade involved, but that right there would kind of filter through that process of the event.
Well, I think we've heard a number of times different groups are better at doing different things, and no one's good at doing all of them. So whether it's the hanger, the door hangers for the businesses, or whether it's checking with you and even Alan on needs of barricades per se, or water, or what have you. So I think all the groups can benefit from us having a town hall. As far as this being an emergency before the burn run, which is in a couple weeks, Tino, give us a synopsis between those three, and tell me if we need to call a special meeting before that event. But I mean, at this point, they're going to have their event with whatever couple inches of water they put in it. That doesn't mean we've decided anything about water barricades for events.
So maybe there's something we need to add to our application as far as meeting as one of the checkoffs to meet with you for emergency preparedness. So before we approve anything, we make sure that we have that in order, so they're not skipping over you.
I don't mind being sick though, but at the end, we do get the application, and that's why
Right.
we're pushing through to make sure officers are covering, especially paid events, that there's gonna be a lot of people that do that extra.
And maybe at the point we approve one, maybe we can highlight the items that must be done by that group before it's approved, and to have a discussion with them to remind them.
Yeah. Again, I think we can make a long list of things that we've got to redo all the forms, because the forms are, number one, are tiny print, and number two, it's a lot of old language. Some don't, mean a whole lot to some events, and some do. So I think we've got some work to do on that. It's just a matter of, there's so many things on the plate. It's a matter of getting it to the front burner. So, but Ray, thanks for volunteering to at least tackle that one. So guys, the purpose of tonight was really just to show you where we stand, who's signed up for what we're lacking volunteers for, and that sort of thing. And then it's also to say, if your name is in green as a lead, I think the expectation is of the rest of council is everyone needs to start reporting back, and I'll say monthly, 2 minutes on each initiative wouldn't be a bad update, so we can add a section for discussion. Yes, ma'am.
I'll be glad to apply for the employee handbook.
Okay.
To lead that.
Okay. Thank you, Robin. Okay. Anyone else interested in the others? You can just kind of ping me. Okay. 10 Bravo, discuss potential move to City Hall in 2024. So the purpose of it tonight is not to have the large debate. Michael Walker's not here. He has said he would come to a town hall. He has been asked to go to a town hall at one of the local churches in the next, I think, 10 days. So what I'm proposing is that we do have a town hall on this topic and have citizens, have employees that have concerns or are in support, doesn't matter which way. We need the pulse of the community before we make a decision. A decision to be made is in the best interest of the city of Jefferson. So, the fact that we've got the old city hall that has lots of different problems, and that's why we've moved out and we're right here behind this wall. But we all also know that behind this wall is not the best scenario for city hall nor our employees. So, we've got an opportunity to move to the primary school. The county is still percolating on whether they would participate in that. There are other entities that could participate. I mean, it could very well be, one of the buildings could just be, community center type scenario. The purpose of tonight was, I assume everyone's in support of holding a town hall in the next couple of weeks, getting Michael Walker here to do a small presentation plus field questions, not just from us, but from citizens and business owners, anyone, all the like. Comments, questions, or? I mean, they have been very strong at saying that building will not be open for a fourth school campus next fall. So what it is going to be used for, or whether it's going to sit vacant, is really the question. They will not be in that building. So, and that's come across very strong. And sorry, Robin.
It was me.
Oh, sorry.
I was just going to recommend that if Mr. Walker is coming to a town hall, if y'all have any questions, maybe send them to the mayor, and he can filter those through to him so that he can come prepared and not blindsided by the questions and have to come back later. So anything that might help move it along instead of postpone the decision-making, it would be beneficial if he could come with that material.
That's a great suggestion. So my plan would be to kind of look at our October calendar, and I mean, we've got more meetings each week. Because we just finished a bunch of workshops and we met, 5 straight weeks in a row, I would like to try to go back to once a month meetings unless we absolutely need to. This town hall, I mean, it may be an hour, it may be 45 minutes. I don't see it being 6 hours, but to me, it's pretty important to get the school an answer as to whether we're interested or not, so they can go to Plan B or Plan C or whatever their real estate options need to be if we're not interested. I know there is a groundswell of support about the ground itself, meaning that's where the old Central High School was. Now, those buildings are not the old Central High School. Everyone needs to understand that, but it's sacred land. So, there's some opinions strongly as to saving the building and, not letting it stay vacant. And, we all know what happens to vacant buildings. They go south quick. So anyone that you hear in town, anyone that you see on Facebook saying, hey, we're against it, hey, we're for it, whichever side, we need to hear from both before we make a decision. But just talking to, our employees that are right on the other side of the wall, this isn't the Magic Kingdom. This is not where they want to end up. So we owe it to them to try to find what the options are, and this is just a pretty good option thrown to us, out of the sky. So I'll get some dates around. I'll throw a couple emails, and we'll see what we can't get on the calendar. Okay. 10 Charlie, strategic plan, core team update. Robin, Melissa?
There's really not an update. We do have a citywide meeting coming up in October. And Jedco has signed the contract and paid the installment to continue Texas A&M's participation. So we'll notify everybody beforehand when that meeting will be, and hopefully, since it'll be the last citywide meeting, hopefully it'll be attended well.
And that one will be at the community center.
Yes.
Do you have a date on that, by the way?
I think it's the second. I think it's October 2nd. We could check on that.
Right around the corner.
I don't know.
Okay.
We'll check.
And Will is not here for 10 Delta. I don't know if anyone else can speak to the County Health and Resource Coalition. Probably not. Okay. We are going to go to executive session under section 551.071, consultation with attorney. And we are going to go there at 6:18, so give us a little bit of time.